guys, how are you doing? I just wanted to share a couple things. There's a lot going on right now with this little coronavirus stuff. And, clearly there's just things that are about to come to pass. Obviously, everything in the Word is true. I mean, some of the versions of the Bible have been mistranslated, but you can always go to the Lord and ask Him what the truth is, and He'll tell you, because He said, I would not give a serpent to a son or daughter who's asking for the truth. So, just prophecies coming to pass, like this whole being in quarantine, and a lot of people have been feeling like the Lord is calling them out the cities and into the countries. You know, to me, this kind of represents somewhat of an Exodus type deal where, you know, during the Passover, the Israelites were in their homes and they had to stay in their homes during the Passover, and they had to mark themselves with the blood of the Lamb. And then you have unleavened bread, where the Israelites had to remove all the sin and malice and teachings that were incorrect, and had to replace them with the truth type deal. So you have a lot of people that are online talking about, now is the time to repent, turn away from your sin. It's the same exact thing. Unfortunately, most of us don't see it as that. We're listening to what God is saying, which is good, and He's telling us we need to do that. But my prayer is for Christians to come to the understanding that all this is biblical, all this has already happened. There's nothing new under the sun, as Solomon said. And so I'm hoping that we can see the God in the situation that's going on, because it's very easy to get caught up in, well, we don't have a job and we might lose our homes, and you know, when can we go back to the store? When can we go to the park? It's very, very easy to get caught up in that, and I completely understand people's frustrations. And, you know, I was really, really frustrated to begin with because I didn't know what I was going to do. But in that whole thing, I learned that, you know, you can't rely on man. You can't rely on this system. You can't rely on the things that you own. The only thing that you can rely on is God. And so I calmed down a bit, and I started reading my word more, and I felt more at peace and at ease with what is going on right now. I don't know the future, unfortunately. But the thing is, what's more important, knowing the future or putting that in the Father's hands and just like letting Him have it and not even worrying about it, because, you know, it's just going to stress most of us out. And other than that, we can always pray. Like, I had ended up praying for some money because I need my car fixed, and what happened in like not even a day was one of my brothers offered to send me some money. Like, I didn't even tell him I needed money. He just offered it, because that's how God works. Like, if somebody is under Him and somebody feels compelled to do something like that, it's because the Father is poking them to do that. So I did that, and then the next day someone else offered me some money, and on that very same day I ended up finding my Instacart card, and I was able to make some money from Instacart. So the Lord is a provider for sure, and you know, all we have to do is pray. He knows what we want or He knows what we need before we ask for it, but it's always good to ask for it still. And something else that has been catching my attention again, I feel like these things just go in cycles. And I think it's the enemy literally trying to distract us from what the truth is. So a lot of people are talking about Paul and how he's a false apostle. And I mean, I got into that maybe like a year into being a believer, and it made a lot of sense, because at the end of the day, I didn't have the full, the full spectrum, not that it's full now, but I didn't have all the information that I have now. And so I had prayed to the Lord about Paul, and I was in a state of sin, and I really was like, man, I just feel like Pharaoh won't let me go. I can't keep the law type deal. And then I read that verse in which Paul says the law was weak in the flesh. And I was like, oh, that's what that means. The law is weak in the flesh. It doesn't mean that the law is done away with. It means that you're laden in darkness and in sin, and so you cannot keep the law in your flesh. You have to go to the Lord, and you have to sit with him, and you have to repent. You have to do, you have to be filled with his spirit and able to walk in the law type deal. So there's things like that happen with all the scriptures. It's just a matter of praying about it and asking the Father, because he's really the only one that will give you any kind of understanding anyway. And then the other thing that is coming up again is the women wearing skirts and dresses. I have prayed about it, and I have prayed about it, and I have prayed about it. And true story, I have not received conviction about it. I just haven't. I don't know if that's because I don't want to. Like, honestly, I don't want to wear skirts all the time. I think that they are very difficult to wear. If I want to go camping and hiking, I cannot perceive myself in the skirts. It's just easier to maneuver in pants. Like, it is. So this came up again, but it was interesting. It was the right timing, because I had commented on somebody's video that's doing the Myers-Briggs things. Now, I don't know if he's Christian, but he's saying his girlfriend is. And in my past life, I was an ISFP, and this girl is an ISFP too. And I was looking at their video, and I was like, man, she's a much more shy and like reserved and kind of scattered ISFP than what I am. But I knew before I came to God, I was more so like that. And what ended up happening was, the Lord took a bunch of stuff from me. He took my makeup, he took my earrings. I don't want to say take, but because he doesn't take things. He says, hey, maybe you should give this up. And I did. So I was being obedient to him. So I gave up my hair, I gave up my earrings, my makeup, I gave up all my fashion, and my light broke through. I wasn't so concerned about Loretta anymore. I was like, I'm getting all emotional. But anyway, but that's one of the huge things with ISFPs. Like, they are all about aesthetics. All these musicians, Beyonce, who else is an ISFP? Britney Spears, Michael Jackson. I don't know. There's a bunch of them. And they're very much concerned about appearance, their makeup, their hair. That's what they reign in. Rihanna. And so when you take that away from an ISFP, you're basically taking like a lot of their identity type deal. And that shows you just how different the Father is. Just exactly how he wants us to be. It doesn't necessarily match up with what the world is telling us what we are. And so this guy, he's an ENFJ, and he was talking about his girlfriend or his wife. And, there's still... The Father doesn't want us to take away all that stuff, and you see beauty and architecture, and and he brought up the Vatican, and I had to go down the whole line of like, well, there's a serpent and that looks like, there's a hall in there that looks like a serpent face. There's that giant weirdo anti-Messiah looking statue that the Pope sits in front of. It's so creepy. They just erected this statue that looks like a frog, and it's got like eyes in its hands. And then they have that giant obelisk, which is, that's everywhere in the world, that obelisk. It's a tall, like, steeple, and they put it on church buildings too. And it represents the penis and Nimrod. And so, I can't go around and talk about how beautiful the Vatican is when literally it's doing everything to worship the devil. That's not beauty. And so what I was trying to show him was that, like, don't get so focused on the aesthetics of things, because like he told the Pharisees, don't worry about the outside temple, but worry about the inside temple. And then if you're being an ISFP and you're too concerned about your outside temple, then the inside's not going to be clean. And that could be the reason why she's still so shy and reserved and like and scattered type deal. And I'm not saying that to be rude, but I was the same way before I got rid of all this stuff. So I'm kind of jumping, and I'm sorry for that. But anyway, maybe I'm the one that's scattered, but no, God's got me on lock. So anyway, the girl who's talking about we need to wear dresses and skirts, this is another girl, and I'm just like, I'm not convicted, because I haven't received that conviction. It's talking about cross-dressing in the word. It's saying, you know, a woman shouldn't wear men's clothing and a man shouldn't wear woman's clothing. Okay, but I think that's literally talking about cross-dressing. It's not talking about women wearing pants. Like, it's because there's pants that are made for women, and then people bring up this like thing, this excuse, oh well, you know, it shows a woman's curves too much. And I'm like, I've seen palazzo pants, I've seen women wear even skinny jeans with long dresses or long tops over their skinny jeans, and so things aren't showing. So for me, I'm not receiving that conviction. And if I want to be honest right now, I'm actually wearing men's clothes. Like, this is the man's sweatshirt. It's a man's sweatshirt and it's a man's shirt. I mean, it's a piece of clothing that's woven for men. But at the same time, I'm not wearing this because I want to be a boy or because I think I'm a boy. I'm wearing it because it fits, it's warm, it's green. So if I have to go and run, you know, I want to be in camouflage type deal. And I bought it because it was only $1. And then I got this shirt on under here, and it's a long, I bought it because it's a long shirt. So when I do wear my jeans, things aren't showing. So it's me trying to be modest, not me trying to be a boy type deal. And honestly, t-shirts and sweatshirts are made for women and men. So if we want to go that route where we're saying, okay, pants are just for men, okay, what about sweatshirts then? Because I'm sure sweatshirts probably started off with men in the first place. So it's just little things like that that are coming back up, and I think they are important in a sense if you put them in the right context, but maybe they're not the priority right now. And so I feel like the enemy is trying to get us all distracted by that kind of stuff and not really doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is really praying, fasting, reading the Bible, studying, using our talents, that kind of thing. So that's coming back up. The name thing rears its ugly head from time to time, where people are like, his name's Yahusha, no, his name is Yeshua, no, his name is Jesus, no. And it's like, this is such a waste of time. Like, you're wasting time. Get in there, be an intercessor, start praying for people, start praying against all this stuff that's happening in the world, all this coronavirus and all this, quarantine, and start praying against that. Start praying for what you should be doing instead of trying to be a teacher all the time, okay? Because it's not helping the situation. And we really need to get on the track in which we're trying to be in unity with one another, not in the sense, not like a false sense and with a false love, but an actual like knowledge of the scriptures and actual spirit of the Father. Because a lot of people are trying to be in unity, but the issue is they're being in unity in untruth. So it's not any better than being disunified in truth. We need to find out what the truth is, and we need to go after that in the name of Yeshua. But yeah, I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying for the body of Messiah, for Israel, for us to come up out of her, whatever way that we're in her. Let's just let it go. Let's let God and just move forward in this. And you guys have a great day, all right? Bye.